Hey guys, today we're looking at WWE 2K17. A lot of hype about this game. Is it any good? Let's go find out. Okay, so WWE 2K17. Well, I'm looking at something around about 70% for this game. Some people may say that's a bit too high, but you know, whatever. That's the rating I'm going to give it. It kind of feels like half a game. Like, it feels too slick. It feels like maybe there's not like enough hardcore wrestling fans actually in behind making the game. Like, it sort of feels, I don't know, like too slick, too clean, too polished, too many stats in there, not enough guts, not like, you know, not enough action and stuff. I definitely do give them some credit. They have put in the backstage brawls and in-crowd fighting, which is awesome. They've put in promos. Unfortunately, it's the right idea, but in my opinion, the wrong execution. I mean, the stuff the superstars say is like completely random. It's like, I don't know, I think I had Seth Rollins or someone in there the other day talking about toothpaste or something, and it's like, what? Some of the stuff they say is just ridiculous. They should have like superstar specific lines, like when Triple H has a promo, he should be talking about "I'm the game, I'm the king of kings," you know, "I'm that damn good," and stuff like that. And Seth Rollins should say the lines he says in real life. Sasha Banks should say the lines she says in real life, like superstar specific. You know, like I was playing like a Legends universe, and they had like Randy Savage and Mr. Perfect and the Earthquake and the Bushwhackers and the Ultimate Warrior, and they're talking about the Authority. It's like, what? It kind of loses the whole feel to it. So, you know, the Warrior should be talking about "my little warriors," and the Sting, you know, Sting should be saying, you know, "I'm the icon," and in other words, specific lines that the superstars would actually say in real life. And that's not hard to do. It's just a PS4, okay? That's not hard to do. It just takes a little bit of time, okay? The only thing I'll say in 2K's favour is that they do only have a year. I mean, what the hell can you do in a year? You can't make a good wrestling game in a year. It seems like it's just a big cash grab. Like, they're just trying to make money every year. Like, they add like 2 or 3 little new things every year. But aside from that, it's like the same game every year. And it's just crazy. Like, imagine when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, right? Or a big game like that. Who the hell wants to buy Grand Theft Auto 6 if it's exactly the same as Grand Theft Auto 5, but they add a 4th character or something like that? Whoa. That's what these WWE games do. It's the same game every year, but they add, well, one year they add a rivalry manager, then they add more stats, ooh, then they add something else, ooh, but it's the same game every year. There's no guts to it, there's no, I don't know if there's enough hardcore wrestling fans in behind it. It needs to be more dirtied up, more rough, like the games used to be. There's actually more options on a game like SmackDown Know Your Role and those SmackDown games on the PS1. There's more options and more fun in those games. And this is a PS1. Like, this is comparing it to the PS4. I mean, as far as those backstage brawls go, big thumbs up. A huge step in the right direction. But you got to add about another 3 or 4 more areas, 3 or 4 more rooms to fight in 2K18, please. Also, fight up the stairs, up the aisleway, out into the lobbyway, please. You can do it. It's the PS4. It's not hard. Please do it. I don't want to wait till 2K28 to be able to do things like that. That's crazy. The commentary is way off. A lot of it's actually inaccurate. It's absolutely terrible. It needs a complete overhaul. I'll say with the commentary, I'd say about 30% of it's good and 70% is absolute crap. Needs to be completely overhauled and redone. The way Michael Cole repeats lines, here's an example.
This is Raw. Welcome to Raw.
Okay, it's like, yes, we know it's Monday Night Raw. You don't have to tell us like a million times. So the commentary is actually inaccurate in parts, like they say stuff wrong. Oh, he's already done 2 finishes or 2 signatures in this match. They haven't even done any finishes in the match, and it gets way worse than that. But anyone who plays this game, the commentary is absolutely terrible. They said they overhauled it a couple years ago. Well, completely redo it, please. It's shocking. The soundtrack for this year's game, I don't know, music's like a subjective thing, you know. Some people really love it. I liked about half of it. I thought half the soundtrack was okay. The other half was pretty crap. But I don't know if it really fitted a wrestling game. I suppose in nowadays era, I guess that sort of music might fit a wrestling game. Definitely back in the day it was all rock music. I guess it's not that way now, but that's just a personal preference. Some people will absolutely love the soundtrack, some people will hate the soundtrack. I was split 50-50. Half the tracks were pretty good actually, and the other half were like, nah. But anyway, that's just a personal thing. Now I really love the little things like the ability to grab the ropes. Like on the second, like on the 2 count, you can like put your hands out and grab the ropes. You can crawl, you know, when you got no energy, you can crawl to your opponent and pin them and stuff. They've put a lot of little good stuff like that in. Having 3 slots in universe mode's awesome. Some of the like in terms of the character models, like the character models on screen, like on the selection screen, actually look really good. They're smooth and they look good, but as when you get to the game, as you can see here, some look good, some look okay, and some look sick. And I don't mean sick in a good way. I mean like they look sick, like something's wrong with them, like they aren't good. Like I'd say for the whole roster, half the roster's probably okay, pass mark, looking pretty good. The other half looking pretty damn bad, looking pretty weird actually. But I mean, Dana Brooke, what's up with those eyes? That's not good. And this is a PS4. This is the main reason I'm really getting on it. Like if this was like a PS2 or something, you know, or a PS1 or whatever, you know, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But this is PS4. Like this is next gen, and it's just not up to scratch for a next gen. Like, where are the match modifiers? Like, what if I want to have a 2 out of 3 falls in a Hell in a Cell? Like, I go to the options, and it's like, what? There's like nothing there. Extremely limited, not like on WWE 13, where you could have like all sorts of matches, Iron Man matches inside cells, inside cages, and or whatever. You know, you could have so many match modifiers. It's not funny. The career mode, I haven't finished the career mode yet, but already it takes so long to get out of NXT, and you're constantly playing against the same opponent like every second week almost, it seems, and it takes like months just to get up the rankings. There's no voiceovers with Renee Young and with your interview sections and stuff like that. It's just not exciting enough. It's too long and too drawn out. Like, admittedly, I haven't played through the whole thing yet, but from what I've heard about it and from what I can tell so far, it's just, it doesn't even make me want to play it really. It's not. It needs to be more exciting. There's too much focus on stats. I mean, who reads the stats? No one cares about the stats and getting abilities after the game. I mean, people just click through that stuff. I mean, spend your time on building some new backstage areas to fight in, being able to fight up the stairs, up the aisles and outside, more match modifiers and match 2 out of 3 falls inside steel cages and stuff like that. Another addition you could have like the monitors at ringside. When you throw the monitors from the announce table on the ground, you should be able to pick them up. Just hit L1, pick up the monitor and use it as a weapon. It's so obvious. Why not do that? Make it a bit more fun. Like, stop concentrating on all these stats and abilities and stuff that people don't even care about, and spend time with more fun gameplay. That's what people want. If 2K18 is like this game, I'm just not going to get it until they put out a good game. Another thing, on the creative side of things, what I want to see, what I'd love to see in 2K18 is a WCW Monday Night Wars thing. They could call it 20 years anniversary, I don't know, don't even have to call it that, but whatever, just make it and have like, just do WCW from 96 to 2001, all the big matches. You have like 20, 25 big matches over there over the course of that time. Sting and Hogan, Goldberg and Nash, Goldberg and Hogan, the list goes on and on. I won't bore you with that. And then on WWF you have the same thing from 96 to 2001 and have all their big matches, Stone Cold and Heartbreak Kid and Austin and The Rock and Taker and Kane, and that list goes on and on. And have like a Monday Night Wars showcase, 25 of the biggest matches. It'll be easy. Have your timeline and put heaps of video archives and heaps of pictures like they did on WWE 13 and 2K14 and stuff. Just do that. It hasn't been done yet. Like all they give us every year is like they give us a couple of WCW superstars, a couple of WCW arenas. To do what with? I mean, big deal. Who cares? You know, who wants that? Give us 40 WWE superstars, all the WCW arenas in 1 year. Make a game like that so we can actually want to keep it and we'll go back and play it for years to come. And on the creative side of things, like, okay, it's cool to have a few names like Biker, Bison, like for your creative superstar when you make one. It's cool to have like, you know, maybe a few names like that, like, you know, I don't know what they're called, Omega, Alpha or something. Have a couple like that. But please give us stuff we can actually use. Like, if I make Buff Bagwell, and if I make Hulk Hogan, and if I make whoever else I make, like, I don't want to call Hulk Hogan Alpha Omega, or the Hog, or something. Please put Hulk Hogan in there. Please put, like, Buff Bagwell, or Owen Hart, or Akeem, or the Steiner Brothers, or the Faces of Fear, or whatever, you know. Actually give us things we can use. Like, I don't want to spend all this time creating a created superstar and then like calling him Alpha Bison or something. Okay, have a couple names like that for, you know, people, you know, you want to do some crazy creative stuff, that's cool, but please give us actual real names we can actually use. You're just filling the game with crap that no one ever uses. Give us some decent like pay-per-view like nameplates, so we don't have to create like Starcade with like a road going through it or something with those designs or whatever they have. Yeah, just in other words, with the creative side, yeah, it's cool to throw in like a couple of crazy things, but please, for the majority, give us actual names of actual wrestlers gone by so we can actually use them. I don't know if those names are licensed or whatever, but I'm sure they can put some more in there. The only thing I'll say in their favour is they have 1 year to do it, and you can't make a good game in a year. Like, they need to have like another team on the side working on something separate that's going to come out in like 3 or 4 years time, which is an awesome game. I think it's just like a yearly cash grab. Like, what they should do is make a game every 2 years and come out with like an original name, like SmackDown vs Raw Revenge or something, or maybe that name's no good, a completely different name, whatever. Come up with original names like they used to, you know, like with No Mercy and SmackDown Know Your Role and stuff. You know, come out with those original game names and make a game every 2 years. I mean, it's just a cash grab. I mean, and just to prove that is there's the list of patch notes, especially on this year's game, as long as your arm and then some, as long as about 12 of your arms and then some. The patch notes were ridiculous. I mean, you had to wait about a month to get Diamond Dallas Page entrance music to work, for God's sakes. The patch notes were crazy, and why? Because they've only got a year to do it. Get some people, I'm sure there's a couple of people in there with some heart and soul for wrestling, but they need to have a hell of a lot more people in there with heart and soul for wrestling, and make something actually decent and actually good like the wrestling games used to be and combine it with the technology they have today, and this is the PS4, I mean, it should be absolutely awesome. I mean, yeah, 2K's only just, they've only had the license for a couple of years, but it's been, 2K18 will be 4 or 5 years now, so it's about time to really step it up, and please do more than just add one new edition for 2K18. I'd really love to see the Monday Night War thing. I think that'd be awesome. And you could even throw in something there from ECW as well, just do it. Now, 2K17 is not shite. It's not crap. You can set it up, you can play it with your mates or whatever, and it's an okay game. I'm giving it about 70%. It's okay, but to me, it only feels like half a game. And I'm not just talking about, even if they had a showcase in there, like the creative modes and stuff just aren't there. Yeah, they've thrown a couple new things in this year, but it's still not there. It's still way off. Like WWE 13 had way more creative stuff than this game's got, man. This is next gen. But come on, guys, step it up. So, final thoughts on 2K17. It is not a shite game. It's okay. It's not too bad. It's good that they've put the backstage brawls in. Please expand on that. Make that 2 or 3 times bigger next year, please. You can do it. It's PS4. It's next gen. I want to be fighting up those aisleways and staircases. Promos, right idea, wrong execution. Have character-specific lines. I don't want to see, Triple H coming out talking about toothpaste and toilet seats and chicken feathers or whatever it was. Terrible, man. That is terrible. A 2-year-old could do better than that. Get some wrestling fans in there and beef these games up. Give it more guts. Make it a bit more rough around the edges. Too clean, too slick. Put some real effort and time into it. Take 2 years on the next game and have someone behind the scenes working on a completely different game. SmackDown vs Raw Revenge or whatever you want to call it. Just something cool with a different name. Put some effort into it, guys. Do applaud 2K for the stuff they're trying to do. There is a lot of good stuff in the game. There's a lot of little stuff. The actual in-ring wrestling is pretty good, with all your moves and stuff like that. So, just being honest, believe me, I wish I could come on here and say, man, these wrestling games are awesome. Backstage area is fun. Oh, the season mode is awesome, man. It's tons of cutscenes. Oh, it's action-packed, man. It's so much fun. The commentary's spot on. I wish I could come on, and have that sort of report on the wrestling games. I don't like coming on here and saying these games aren't up to scratch, But just being honest, that's just my opinion too. So there you go. Take it for what it's worth. That's my thoughts and opinions. That's my rant. It's my rant and review. Leave your guys' comments below on what you think about 2K17 and what they should do with the future of games. Thanks heaps for tuning in. Throw a like on there if you like it. Dislike if you don't. Hey, that's all good. But keep following for more and take it easy out there. Cheers.